Hello, in this video I will be talking about the planet Jupiter. I am currently doing a series on the Navagraha, so those are more just introductory videos on who the planets are and what they represent in Vedic astrology. And for those videos, they are very consistent in nature, and I really like having a template for more instructional type videos where they're consistent and they're sort of presented in a way that's very neat and tidy. But I felt inspired in this video to just kind of freestyle a little bit more about the planet Jupiter and just see what kind of comes to mind as I'm talking about it. So I do plan on returning to that template style video where it's kind of neatly packaged and it's very consistent with the others. I will be doing, I think the next ones are Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu in that series. So as far as my free-flowing thoughts about Jupiter, we're living in a very difficult time. And I know for a lot of us, myself included, the people that I know, the people that my friends know, the people that my family knows, etc., it's been a kind of a depressing year. And I feel like people have these goals to be productive, and they have these dreams, really, of what they want to accomplish with all this free time that we've been given. And I've noticed that people have been pretty inconsistent on what they're working on. And I feel like that's because of this like heaviness of like disappointment, basically, of what they thought this year would look like. And, you know, Jupiter going into Capricorn, into Saturn's sign, its place of debilitation, has kind of suppressed those goals, sort of suppressed those aspirations that I think that a lot of us were wanting to bring to fruition, to acquire this year. And with Jupiter ruling the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces, it's all about being able to be supported in acting upon those inspirations, acting upon your hopes, your goals, and whatnot. So it's been difficult, I think, with that transit. And then also with Jupiter going retrograde, it also puts more pressure on us internally, and it makes us go back towards the past and kind of look at what we haven't accomplished, what goals we haven't reached. And it's just a bit overwhelming with that. And I think Saturn also being retrograde, it adds more pressure as well. And there's a complicated relationship that we have with these planets when they're retrograde. But Saturn being in its own side of Capricorn is definitely the dominating one here. He's the one that kind of is playing by his own rules, and then Jupiter is under the rules of this Saturn, right? So we are fortunate in the fact that Jupiter is going back into Sagittarius. It has already entered into Sagittarius. And in fact, I think yesterday, Jupiter had just entered back into the nakshatra of Purvashada, which is the one of the invincible stars of earlier victory. So with Jupiter going back into Sagittarius, it is with Ketu. And Ketu can remove the energy of the planets that it's with. It tends to kind of suck that energy out of that planet. So if Jupiter is going back into Sagittarius and it's living up to these hopes and expectations and but you're going back to your goals, basically going back to your drawing board, having a second chance. There's kind of this wind being taken out of your sails with Ketu being there. It doesn't give you the ability to hold those goals in mind easily. Now, it is possible, everything is possible, and actually anything is possible, but there are challenges to that. And I think that's where we're feeling kind of day after day, feeling a bit maybe defeated and depressed. When Ketu moves out of Sagittarius, and it goes back into Scorpio, it will no longer have that direct influence or direct aspect on Jupiter. And then Jupiter can go direct and express itself in a more normal and functional way in the sign of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is all about going above what is sort of the status quo. It is about reaching goals. It's about aspiring for something higher, wanting something more than just settling for what is. Okay, settling for just the minimum, the base amount. It's all about reaching up and reaching for something higher. Jupiter is basically the audacity of hope in this very depressing and challenging world. But it gives us this light, it gives us belief, it gives us faith. These are what the things that Jupiter represents: hope, belief, faith, also expansion and purpose, right? Not just expansion in a physical sense, but expansion in a way where you are improving your life, you're bettering your life, you're bringing in abundance, you're manifesting opportunities to be bigger, to be more, to help, right? To help other people, to help yourself, to show who you really are and what you were really born with. So this planet is always working according to these principles, but the conditions that it's in may not be as supported, but it's still working. It's just in a bit more challenging aspect or a bit more challenging arena. So Jupiter is about beliefs. It's about faith. It's about hope. What you believe in creates your reality. What you believe creates your reality. Actually, if you want to sort of break this down even a bit deeper, what you think about, your thoughts, is what you bring about your reality. What you think about is what you bring about. Your thoughts create your reality. Why? Because your thoughts, which is the moon, basically, it's your perception, influences your speech and your words. I am, I can, I'm not, I can't, whatever the story is that you're dictating to yourself. This is Mercury. The words behind your thoughts. Okay, the words behind your feelings. Now these words end up creating your experiences because it ends up something that you hear over and over again. The mind hears something over and over again. It begins to believe it, whether it's true or not. So Jupiter is beliefs. Those words that you speak over and over again influence your beliefs. So it's very important to watch your thoughts. You have the choice to think differently. You have the choice to believe that you are being victimized because of current circumstances. But there's always something in your life that you can be grateful for, that you can be thankful for. There's always something that you have that other people don't have and that they want. So this is Jupiter. Jupiter is gratitude. It's an attitude of gratitude, basically. As corny as that sounds, and as maybe as corny as all of this sounds, I wanted to talk about this because Jupiter is beliefs, but these beliefs are not concepts. They're not just airy-fairy concepts that are out there that aren't personal to us and that aren't real to us. When we talk about belief, it's intangible, right? Facts are tangible, science is tangible, right? Beliefs and hope and religion or spirituality, that's all sort of feathers and incense, right? But what you believe in creates your reality, and your reality then verifies and shows you again, this is true. It sort of is a mirror back to you. So these truths are self-evident. These truths perpetuate themselves based upon what you believe in. So it's very important that you again pay attention to your thoughts, which then become your words and become things, become your reality. They're your beliefs that shape your future. So Jupiter is also success. Okay, so Jupiter is success. It's the opposite of poverty. It's abundance, right? Again, so we talk about growth and expansion, right? So success comes from successful thinking. It comes from positivity. You can't be a negative person or have negative thoughts and be a successful person. You can, but then you would end up sabotaging that or feeling like you don't deserve it, whatever that success may be to you. So some other things that I wanted to mention about Jupiter being a real force in our life. These planets aren't just out there somewhere. Yes, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so my soul. Everything is a reflection. The microcosm is a reflection of the macrocosm. So what is happening up there is a blueprint of what is happening in here, right? Your horoscope is basically a snapshot of where all the planets were in the sky at that day and time and location on Earth that you were born. It's a blueprint of where all those stars were. That pattern, that celestial pattern, is within you, and you carry that along with you. As time continues to move forward, you continue to grow and expand. That's Jupiter. Jupiter is also success, hope, motivation. It's made motivational speakers. And sometimes when I myself and other people I know are in the doldrums and they're in this sort of depressive, nothing's working right, you have to sort of reprogram yourself. And sometimes you need a little bit of a help or like a kick to get going in that direction, to find what inspires you. If you're busy listening to your own voice that is negative, listen to someone else's voice that's positive. It may be irritating at first. You may not believe it at first. Those things you will not believe necessarily, those words that are being spoken that are so positive, because you don't feel positive. But your mind can't differentiate the difference between something that is a lie and that is truth. It just hears what it hears. If you say, I feel terrible, your body goes, you're right, I feel terrible. If you say, I feel motivated, your body says, you're right, I do feel motivated. So it's best to, I guess, if you're going to lie to yourself, lie in a way that's inspiring, that's helpful, right? Even if it's not true yet, it will become true. Okay, so Jupiter is motivational speakers as well. These people are wildly successful because they are speaking truth. Okay, so some of the people and some of the Jupiterian people that I've really benefited from over the years are, you may know of them. Abraham Hicks is one. She's a channel, Esther. She channels Abraham. Alan Watts, who is a philosopher and Zen Buddhist. Some of his insights are just so deeply profound and truthful and inspiring. And there's even chill step playlists on YouTube where they take some of his speeches and create these musical melodies and beats. And it's just so, it transports you to a different place. It lifts you up out of this vibration of negativity, of Saturn. Saturn's not always bad, but Saturn can be a bit oppressive, especially with just the energy that I mentioned earlier with sort of all of these layers happening. It transports you out of Saturn. Saturn is contraction. It's concentration as well. It concentrates things, it pressures things. Okay, when there's too much pressure, life is imbalanced. Pressure is good in moderation. just like everything else. Jupiter is also good in moderation. Jupiter expands. Jupiter is expansion. Saturn is compression or depression. So anyway, Alan Watts, I was mentioning, transports you. It lifts your vibrational energy because of the truths that he speaks. Some of the more modern and popular YouTubers that have gained success recently that you may know of as well as Jay Shetty. He has a show called On Purpose. By the way, this title, On Purpose, is a Jupiter title. Jupiter is you living your purpose. Jupiter is purpose. It rules the natural 9th house of Dharma. Sagittarius is the natural 9th house. So is Pisces, which is the house of moksha and liberation, right? But living your purpose is what you were created to do, and that's what Jupiter wants you to do. It inspires you to be better. These people that are brought into our lives, whether they're famous or popular, or just clients or friends or family or whatever, they're people that are put in your life to help you see your true potential. Also, Tony Robbins is very highly popular. I don't watch his videos as much, but I've seen some of his like speeches, and he just doesn't let people wallow in self-pity. He is wildly popular motivational speaker. He is I guess an incarnation of that Jupiter energy. So is Marissa Peers, and she's one of my most, I guess, recent famous discoveries. I know she's been around forever, but I've just recently discovered her, and she does talk about the power of the mind, and she is so inspiring. All of these people are so inspiring in so many ways, and you may have a list of people that you listen to or that you go to that are very Jupiterian, that pull you out of this spiral or this funk, basically this vibrational energy that is not productive, right? So these motivational speakers are counselors. They are therapists, basically. They get you to look at the way that you're thinking. They challenge your perceptions on certain things. So these are some real life examples of Jupiter incarnate. Okay, so counselors. That's why Jupiter is called the guru. Or guru, actually. Guru graha. It's teachers, it's counselors, it's preachers. Teachers, preachers, counselors, speakers. Anybody that enlightens your consciousness, whether it be in a traditional school setting or in a stadium or on YouTube or wherever, anybody that enlightens your consciousness is the incarnation of Jupiter. So these are real things. So Jupiter is truth, right? So I'm not talking about facts. Facts are mutable. They are changeable. Jupiter is truths that will always be true, no matter what. You are worthy because you were born. That's a truth. That is an undeniable truth. That is a fact that does not change. You are worthwhile. You are worthy. You are lovable. You belong here. You have a purpose. Those are all Jupiterian themes. Those are all Jupiterian truths. You are enough. You are significant. Okay? You are a badass. That's another example of something that is Jupiterian that I wanted to talk about as well. It's a New York Times best-selling book, You Are a Badass. You may have heard of it. I have it right here. I just wanted to show you. This is a book that was written by Jen Sincero, and it says how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life, right? Doubting your greatness is a bit Saturnian. Doubts as well, doubts and fears, fear of rejection, fear of limitation, fear of I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough. All of those are Saturn themes. Again, there are there's always a negative and a positive. There's always something to be taken that's useful from the planet that wants to help you, and there's always a hindrance too. There's always two sides of the same coin. So Jupiter can be all about, yes, you're a badass, but it can also be an inflation of ego, an inflation, too much confidence, too much hope, without the actual goal setting and the actual actions to back it up, which is Saturn. So again, you do need a balance. You can't have too much Jupiter or too much Saturn, because you'll either get nothing done and just be, just hoping and wishing and praying that things will happen in your life, or you'll be slaving away and never seeing any results because you're not actually, respecting yourself and asking for more, right? So that's sort of the difference, I guess, the balance here. Also with this book that I found really interesting, I've read this several times, it's yellow. Yellow is bright. Yellow is hope. Yellow feels good. Yellow is Jupiter. Yellow is Jupiter's color. So I found that this was a very appropriate color for this book. Jupiter being preachers, and they inspire us to improve our lives because they help us believe in something that's greater, our greater potential, greater possibilities, okay? But they're not just saying these things to just say it. They actually believe it. Again, Jupiter is beliefs. They believe it themselves. And because they ooze this dynamism, they ooze this energy of Jupiter, of like optimism and positivity, they truly believe it. You end up believing what they say. You can do this for yourself. If you're stuck, it might be help to have people that are Jupiter-like people come into your life, teachers, preachers, counselors, therapists, etc. But when you get to a point where then you can do it yourself, you should, and you can. So until it becomes a habit, it's always good to have, people to help you. Never underestimate the power of Jupiter to spread conditions, okay? So the influence that they have on you will impact your psychology, can impact other people as well. So you then become a powerful catalyst for positive change in this world. I think there's a couple of other things that I wanted to say about Jupiter. So Jupiter is beliefs. I mentioned this a few times. What you end up believing is what you will end up creating, because your beliefs is what you expect. You believe something to be true, then you can change your beliefs by changing your thoughts, by changing your words. Even if you don't believe it right away, when you change your words, you hear something over and over again, you change your beliefs, then you end up creating a different reality. It's no coincidence that Jupiter is children. Jupiter is the karaka, or indicator, of children in a chart, in life. And Jupiter is also beliefs. The connection here of Jupiter with children and beliefs. A lot of our beliefs are conditioned. These conditions happened during childhood. You see the connection of Jupiter and how powerful that is. If you were told something, or you observed something, you saw something, you learned something as a child, you carry that with you, whether it's true or not. You could have been taught lies. You could have been told lies as a child that you end up growing up with and challenged and said, actually, that's not true. That belief doesn't serve me anymore. It's making me miserable. Okay. So you can also learn good things too. Anyone can grow beyond their current circumstances. Anyone can grow beyond their past, what they were conditioned. So children are like seeds. They grow, right, with adequate conditions, sunlight, watering, daily sort of energy and love and care that's put into that seed, it ends up growing. That's what Jupiter does. It expands and it grows. The water is the nourishment of truth, basically. It's just no coincidence that children is Jupiter, beliefs are Jupiter, and that ends up becoming your reality. People say, oh, I can't, do this, or this because my childhood and these experiences from the past, and that's just me, that's just what I learned. Well, you can grow beyond that, and that's what Jupiter is asking you to do. Okay, so this was a bit of an unconventional kind of video about Jupiter, but I just kind of wanted to share what was on my mind instead of having like a scripted template for what Jupiter is. I will continue that with the Navagraha series, but I just really felt inspired to share this, and that's what Jupiter was asking me to do. Jupiter created this video, and hopefully it shed some light into the true meaning of what Jupiter is and what it can do for you and how it operates in your life. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this content, leave a like. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.